podcast episode. I'm Kelly Jason with United Way Emerald Coast, and this is our podcast, which now has a name, guys. Are you super excited about that?
So excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I didn't sound super excited.
Super excited. It's better than UAC podcast.
I know. That was
I don't know.
that was a good placeholder while we needed it.
Who came up with that one, CJ?
Probably I did. I don't know.
It's very creative.
Look, so our new name, change, starts with U. But the U is like the letter U, as in United Way. As in you, or United Way. Or you. Right?
Yeah.
We like it?
We like it.
Love it.
Can we add the little pointing emoji?
We could do whatever you want.
CJ, can we do that?
Somebody else who has skills way beyond mine will surely be able to add a U to it. I love it. Great idea. Writing it down.
Thank
Point.
you so much for hearing me, making sure my voice is heard.
Always. All right, so what we thought would be fun this time is, so when we started this podcast, it's reverse. When we started this podcast, the first one that we filmed was us talking about our roles at United Way and just kind of like some general UEC 101. But then we lost that episode and we learned a lot of things from that moment in time. And we've grown so much since then that we figured it would be time to go back and let's just kind of lay a little foundation now that we're 6, 7, I don't know, podcasts in, and let's talk a little bit about who United Way is and our roles, because one of the three of us should be consistently on podcasts moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? We're alternating around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. So let's have you guys each introduce yourselves. What's your role at United Way? And then we'll see where this goes. That'll be fun.
You can go first. You're closer to her.
Okay, cool. My name is Marley Tucker. I'm the Director of Development here at United Way Emerald Coast. And in that role, I lead most of our fundraising efforts. So focusing on those donor and corporate relationships and any way that we can raise the funds that we need in order to have an impact here in Okaloosa and Walton counties.
Awesome.
Aubrey?
I'm Aubrey Robbie. I'm the Director of Impact here, and I really focus on our nonprofit relationships, hopefully increasing the capacity and sustainability of all of our nonprofit organizations in Okaloosa and Walton County, and I also oversee some of the volunteer and other programs that we run here.
Love it. Cool. So we were recently at the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce's First Friday Coffee. How would you guys describe First Friday Coffee to somebody who's never been before?
Chaos.
I think it's fun. I think it's upbeat. I think it's lively.
Mm-hmm. Not what you would think of when you hear 7 a.m. chamber breakfast, right?
Think really big family reunion at 7 a.m.
In a very dysfunctional family.
I was going to say,
Yes.
yeah, very loud family.
Yeah, when everyone has their own goals and their own people that they're avoiding.
And you get everybody in the same room and mush it all together.
And then you give the mic to the person who shouldn't have it.
Love it. So that's accurate. So we were there and we sponsored a recent breakfast, and we used that time to do a little debunking, right? Some myth busting, sharing some of these things that we continue to hear that we just know not to be true. And so we thought we'd pick a couple of those favorite ones from that session to talk about today, right?
Yeah.
This is what we've discussed and planned for. So great. So Aubrey, one of the ones I would love to direct to you that I hear sometimes is that we are just a middleman.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate the opportunity to bust that myth. So I feel like a lot of people just think, when they donate to United Way, we just take it and then we, you donate $10 and then I'm like, all right, here's $10 to you, local organization. And that's just not true at all. While we do offer grant opportunities, we offer so much more as well. So, that might have been true way long ago, but in recent years we've really been community impact and data driven. So looking at those gaps, seeing how we can fill those gaps, and also how to build up our nonprofit organizations. So we offer trainings, we offer roundtable discussions, just ways to get them into the room and hopefully increase their capacity and sustainability. Some of our organizations that we partner with are, larger organizations, and they are very well equipped to run their organization and make an impact in our community. But there's some that are just, one person, 2-person teams that really could use the help of United Way and our staff and our storytelling and those trainings. So it's really important for us not to just give out those grant funds, which, by the way, are determined by our community and volunteers, but also focus on how to continue to strengthen those relationships and be a resource for those organizations.
And then allowing ourselves to be innovative and creative and responsive when there are other needs here in our community that nobody's yet tackling, right?
Yes. Filling those gaps, finding those gaps.
Love it. Amazing. Marley, we'll direct this one to you.
What is it gonna be?
What's it gonna be? What do you usually say if someone tells you, like, we don't need their help because we raise so much money?
Well, that's just not true, right?
Period.
You're wrong. No, truly every single dollar, every single minute, every single hour makes a difference. No matter what way you decide to get involved with United Way, you are definitely going to be making a difference here in Okaloosa and Walton counties. I mean, those nonprofit relationships that Aubrey kind of touched on a little bit in the last question really allow us to stretch those dollars in incredibly meaningful ways that you couldn't even imagine. You hear some of the stats talking about like $5 could be providing someone a night of safe shelter. Like, where does that exist? That does not exist in an Airbnb, in a hotel here in our area. But when we have all these nonprofits, all of these businesses, all of these city and county municipalities, individuals and companies that are willing to come together and tackle these issues in partnership with one another, we can make those things really happen. So your $1, your $5, your $1,000, it makes a difference right here on our neighbors who need it the most.
I think that's one of the things that is super cool about United Way in my mind is it's not like one size fits all. Like your relationship has to fit within this box and these parameters, but talk a little bit about kind of that flexibility that we have and how people can support us.
Yeah, I mean, I just mentioned a few of the ways that you can support, but we really want to customize those opportunities to be meaningful to you. So, I mean, One Shot Creations is here right now filming this podcast.
One Shot Creations.
They are, they enjoy it, right? This is what they do. This is what they have expertise in. And so they choose to give back by providing those services at discounted and donated rates for us. Talk about like creating a custom way to make a difference, right? Like we would have never put in a sponsorship package somewhere, film a podcast for United Way.
We would have never asked for this.
But we can take your expertise. We can make that happen when we put our heads together and do something meaningful like that. We've worked with hotels.
We were with Eglin Federal Credit Union, getting their shout out today with their beautiful mug, which I'm still very jealous of, and I'm waiting on mine. Nico? Courtney, anybody want to help me out?
Oh, I'm so
beautiful.
sorry. You guys
We
got
gave
called
y'all
out.
bling shirts.
I'm clearly the favorite from Eglin Federal Credit Union. No, but yeah, there's tons of ways to customize the ways that you can make a difference, whether you're a company, like I said, One Shot Creations, the hotels that we work with, Fish Window Cleaning cleans our windows on a quarterly basis. I mean, like, again, not something that we would have thought of necessarily, but we're taking your expertise, the things that you enjoy, and using it to make a difference. That can be done on an individual level or at a company level. We just had a volunteer create this holographic display for First Friday Coffee, and I mean, that was something that he was like, you guys are promoting this event, and like, I have this, and I would love to let you use it for free. And we're like, of course we would love that. Like, anyway,
like, I don't understand. Again, something I don't understand anything about. No. I'm like, it's a holoc. What do you mean?
I'm like, what do I do with it? Like, do I have to like understand coding or something? How do I set it up? He's like, just plug it in.
He made it easy. He made it easy. That's the first thing that somebody said to me. Like when we sat down, they're like, I love that little spinning thing of United Way. I'm like, I agree. It was so cool. Very different. Aubrey, if somebody asked you that question about like, hey, you don't need my money or you don't need my support, what do you see kind of from the impact side of things? Would you agree with that statement?
No, definitely would not agree with that statement. Marley kind of touched on, partnering with, organizations and individuals, but really, and she said this too, every hour, every minute, every dollar that you give is really important and makes incredible change, not only to our organizations, but just individuals in our community. So if you're able to volunteer, for 1 hour, you could pack 120 plus snack packs that can be distributed to our local schools. If you want to volunteer for longer, you can actually get into the thick of the grant applications and review those and make the funding recommendations to our board of directors for our local nonprofits. And I'll tell you right now on, just raising the money side and the donation side is Kelly and I are about to go through our community investment process. Those organizations are about to apply for grants, and I guarantee you there's going to be many difficult phone calls being had, calling those organizations, just letting them know that we are unable to fund them because we just simply don't have the capacity to do so. So definitely every supporter, every minute they're able to provide, every dollar is incredibly important.
Love it. Any other myths that you guys hear that are some of your favorites?
Yeah, I always hear about how Kelly makes $1 million.
Yeah, I'm really jealous.
Yeah.
Is that true?
How do you do that?
Can you share?
Yeah, we get that. I see that one on social media every now and then about how the CEO makes $1 million or whatever obscene amount it is. No, I'm like, we raise about 1.2 million, so it's not only mathematically nearly impossible for me to be making $1 million. It wouldn't be a good use of our donor dollars and our investments. We do believe in having qualified, competent staff and equipping them with the tools and resources that you guys need to be successful in your roles. So we do compensate, our staff. We're not all volunteering, but don't make $1 million. And my salary is disclosed on our 990s, which we file with the IRS every year. You can find the last several years of them on our website. We're also the only local nonprofit in this area that is accredited or has received the highest level of accreditation from the Better Business Bureau, from Candide, and from Charity Navigator. And that shows that we are very transparent, that we're accountable. All three of those places, or four, however many I just said. You can also see our 990s there. So yeah, that's a fun one.
Busted.
Right. Busted.
One I always hear, or kind of get the idea, from people, when you start talking to them and you can kind of see those wheels turn, and it's almost like, just ask me.
Right.
But one of them is you're not local. And I think that we're doing a great job of actually getting the word out. But if there's someone who's never heard of United Way Emerald Coast before saying that we work at United Way, they immediately just kind of sometimes turn their brains off and they're like, oh, that's a national organization. Don't want to give that. I want to focus on local.
Yeah, so it's almost like a franchise model. So all United Ways are separate and independent, and we're missing the mark and telling people that because we still get asked. But we have a local volunteer board of directors who set our strategies and our vision. All the dollars, most of the dollars that we raise are coming from within our community. And certainly all the dollars that we're directing through our community investment are staying in our community. And I think that that's always really important. It's what makes sense to me. It's why I, years ago started supporting United Way as a donor, as my first, job out of college as a case manager. I was like, oh, I get it. You're helping our clients, you're helping our community, you're helping my neighbors. And so obviously my love for the organization has just grown since then. But yeah, very, very local, very grassroots, but on kind of that broader scale also, that we do get to leverage the network, right? These girls and their eyes are probably rolling because that's something that we say all the time, is there are other United Ways who do have a lot of expertise and have a lot of great programs. And so if we can borrow anything and mold it to shape our community, that is just, a way that we can be more efficient. Yeah. Love it. Any other myths that you hear?
I feel like there's so many. I don't even. What about, you guys are always doing the same thing that you've always done. You're not changing anything. Yeah. You're just the same United Way that's been here for 65 years. You're doing the same thing you did 65 years ago. Is that true, Kelly?
I wish we like insert a clip of like The Office from 65 years ago.
I'm like imagining
Just so
black and white and like.
Yeah, very grateful for that foundation, right? That solid foundation that we have as an organization, and really grateful to our board of directors who allows us to be flexible and agile and responsive to today's needs. But I think a lot of the things that we're doing now are really new within, really since COVID.
Yeah,
COVID-19 was a time, I think, that our organization took a pause and what are we doing? Does it make sense to continue doing it? Does it make sense to continue doing it that way? And who do we really want to be, and how can we better serve our community? So just thinking of both of you and some of the initiatives and things that you've been a part of, Women United, 40 Under 40, Reading Pals, RSVP, there's so much that we're doing today that is new, that is mission driven, and really aligns and again really helps us build that healthier, stronger, more equitable community. So what else do you guys say about that question?
I immediately go to like the 5-hour blocks that we've had on our calendar the past 2 weeks to like actually go through the application in like every aspect of community investment. And it's not just like we settle on one thing and we use it for 10 years, but we review it every single year and we change it. And like you said, how can we do better for our partners? How can we do better for the organization and our community? And we go through and we change it if it's not meeting those criteria. So always looking for ways to better our services and better our process and all of that. So I think that's such a silly question.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I always say, which people always make fun of me for, is that like as a nonprofit, your goal is to shut your doors. Your goal is, see, they make fun of me every time. Your goal is
You made fun of her once and now she's super self-conscious about it.
Probably. But your goal is that you've met the needs of your community. You don't have to have that program anymore. You don't have to provide those services anymore because that problem has been solved, right? So the one that I think of like staple in our community, Codes for Kids, for many, many years. And I remember when we made the decision not to do Codes for Kids anymore because it wasn't a need. In the way that some of our partners, reacted, because they were like, wait, we really enjoyed doing Codes for Kids. And it's like, we did too, but like we also enjoy knowing that there's not kids that are cold anymore. Like we made that happen together. And we don't need to continue to raise codes if the kids aren't cold anymore. Let's move on and let's do something else.
If it's not the greatest need anymore also, right? If there's something that's more pressing, maybe that's what we should shift our gears and minds to.
Definitely.
So maybe there's somebody watching who is thinking about joining a nonprofit as a teammate in the future. What advice would you have, or how would you sway them, hopefully, to be in the nonprofit sector about why your job is amazing in this industry?
She loves that we're not answering right away.
No, I know, that's a great sign.
I'm trying to really think through my response.
It's not all
I was like,
this is about why nonprofit work is fulfilling and meaningful.
Okay, here's the thing.
I can't imagine working in any other industry.
I want to answer first so you don't take my answer.
No, but wait, I just want to address the fact that like Aubrey and I are very much like we want to prepare for things, and Kelly's like, here's some questions that we never talked about
20 minutes
and
ago.
now you should answer them on camera and we're not going to cut. So that's why we pause, not because our answers are fabricated, okay? Busting that myth right now before it gets started. Do not say it, okay?
I feel like it would look suspicious if I was like, well, let me just tell you how great it is.
I reverse this answer.
Your canned response.
This is what it is. But I'm going to let Aubrey go so she can steal my answer.
That's so thoughtful.
And then I'll figure out what the heck I'm going to say.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, to be very honest, nonprofit work is really hard. I mean, it's extremely hard, especially, when you're looking at these organizations and they're doing great work and they're impacting so many clients. I mean, this is specific to my role, but they're impacting so many clients and we're just not able to help, and there's those difficult moments, but then there's just the greatest moments ever when we're at, the annual meeting and we flip around the numbers and it's like $1.98 million impact on this community, and you learn that we've impacted over 100,000 lives. So I mean, yes, it's hard work, but it's such rewarding work, and it's rewarding to the point that I don't think you would ever get that amount and that feeling from any other job that you could do. So that's my short answer.
Love it.
Thanks.
Aww.
Aw. See, guys, You should work at a nonprofit. Kelly was doubting me, but here we are. You should definitely work at a nonprofit. Nonprofit, woo! Also, never mind. Go ahead.
What were you going to say? What did you want to add, Aubrey?
Impact coordinator position coming soon.
Stay tuned.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Marley. What do you have to add? Why is working at a nonprofit great? Is it great?
Yes, it is great.
Explain
I enjoy
why.
my job very, very much. No, so I was going to give a shout out to Leadership 10, who just recently put us through an 10 week course.
I don't know. It was 10 weeks. It was like several months. I think it was like 6 months.
That equals multiple months,
I
right?
think it was 4
10
months.
divided by 4. Okay. Anyways,
Divided by-
not math.
I thought 4.
Not math. That's not.
Let's wrap it back up, guys.
4 weeks in a month.
Let's bring it back together.
Anyways,
Okay,
shout
moving
out
on.
to L10 who doesn't teach math. Who did a DISC motivators assessment on us as part of their leadership training, and one of my highest motivators was social. So having that impact on your community, seeing that kind of reward in helping others. And so, of course, going hand in hand with what Aubrey said, I do think that anyone you ask that works in a nonprofit, that's going to be the answer, right? Is the passion for the work, the purpose that you have every single day, waking up in the morning and knowing you're making a difference. But I think beyond that, working specifically for United Way, as someone who wanted to be involved in nonprofits, who went to college to participate in this type of work and did it intentionally, United Way is a place that you want to be. I mean, you're going to have the biggest impact that you could even imagine. You're going to spread that impact across so many different organizations, so many deserving missions. You don't have to choose if you're focusing on one or the other and putting all of your efforts towards that one cause, but you're impacting every single one with your time throughout the week. And so if you want to make a difference, United Way is the best way that you can do that, and in the most efficient way. So the purpose, the passion, but also efficiency, because that's who I am as a person.
And that's what she's really passionate about.
Yes, checking off to-do lists and all the type A stuff.
I will say that at United Way, from the very moment I've started, I've never had a Sunday scary.
Aww.
And that
Tear
comes from
emoji on the screen.
someone who had a Sunday scary every single Sunday when I was a teacher during COVID. Anyways,
Well, thank you for your service.
thank you for yours. And yours, Marley.
Some of the things that I think are really special too about the nonprofit industry is you really, I don't know if these things are unique to our organization, so I guess I can't speak to all, but I hear it from my colleagues and friends at others too. So you really get the ability to like stretch your skills and develop new ones working here, right? Like one day maybe you're on a project where you're learning about volunteer recruitment, and then you're focusing on business etiquette and correspondence, and then you're grant writing, and then you're fundraising, and then you're leading others, through change and initiatives. And there's so many things and so many skills that I don't think I would have ever been able to enhance if I was in a different industry. I think that that's really unique and special. And then also the networking that you get, I think that also plays into like your professional development, that we get exposed to so many incredible community leaders and community members who care so deeply about our region and making it a better place. And you get to, pick their brains and pick maybe some of their qualities that you might strive to emulate kind of in your roles, especially as, on our leadership team. I think that that's really, really, really special. I did work in a corporate sector for a little while, and that was not the case there.
Yeah, one thing I definitely would add to that, the other day, the three of us during our leadership retreat, we were having a conversation about leaders that inspire you, right? And the people that came up, Nico Stubblefield, Diane Frazier, Springer Williams, people that like, if we weren't in this job, I would have never been exposed to. I would have never met them. I would have never seen their leadership style. I would have never learned anything from these people, but I got access to that because of this position that I'm in within United Way. So it goes exactly to your point of personal growth, professional growth, in many different ways that you can benefit from working for a nonprofit like us.
Love it.
So apply.
Or volunteer if we don't have any positions open, or it's not the right position for you. Volunteer and be a part of our team in that way, shape, or form. Or help us tell the story at your workplace, right? So many ways.
So many ways.
To wrap it up, one thing that you are most looking forward to this year? Could be an event, could be a program, initiative, something personal that you're working on.
Kelly has personally challenged me to develop my skills in a couple areas this year. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit more grant writing. So I'm excited about that.
I am too.
Not about the actually like writing the grant part, but
Oh, Marley, you're so good at gaining support for, our work. So again, it's just a different way to do it.
yeah. So, but I'm excited to continue to grow in my skills and to use that to benefit our community. So
Cool.
excited about that.
Awesome.
Great answer.
Thank you.
My answer is 40 under 40 because I just love it so much.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. It's so fun to see like all of the individuals who we might not know yet, but are just making such a great impact on the community and like actually like learning about the work they're doing inside and outside of their organization, and then hopefully getting to meet them and just like celebrate them. It's just so fun and exciting. So nominations open in June.
Love it.
Did y'all hear that, Cody? Noah? June. 40 under
Be
40.
here before we know it.
It sure will.
But we're not worried.
We're ready.
We're ready. We're totally ready.
No
Awesome.
Sunday Scaries here.
Nope.
Yeah.
I will be like, we get them on Saturday because we're on a 4-day work week.
Little caveat.
Fooled all of you.
Are we busting myths or are we creating more myths?
Okay.
What's happening?
Just kidding. No, I think that was, I think you're right. Yeah, I don't get those Sunday scaries.
No?
Nice.
Nope, not anymore. All right, well, thank you so much. Thank you for what you guys do for United Way and all of our clients and our partners, both nonprofit and corporate-wise. I appreciate you guys. I'm lucky to have you on our team, and our community is as well. So thanks for giving us a little behind-the-scenes look at the chaos that is our office. And hopefully, surely we have inspired other people to get involved in some way, shape, or form. So they're going to come flooding your inboxes really soon, so I hope you're ready for it.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. And thank you so much, Kelly, for being such an amazing leader that we love so much.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
We do. We love her. I know that sounded really sarcastic because that's the way that we talk to each other, but we do love you. You're a great leader. You push us in many ways to grow, to evolve, to impact our community in positive ways. I mean, all that change that we talked about has been since Kelly's got here. She's just been like, how do we do things differently? How do we
We
impact
don't know.
more people?
Let's make it up.
How do we feed people? What's a food distribution? It's 2020. We got to
can
figure
do
this out.
Yeah, we're experts in it now. We got
But we did it.
Yeah, we did it together.
So thank you.
Very lucky to have a good team around us. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thanks.